Hello, and welcome to this video. My name is Chelsea Scott, and in this video, I'll be discussing contour lines. In particular, what are contour lines and why they're useful? So on the left here, you can see an example of contour lines spanning a mountainous landscape. So let's talk about what these contour lines mean. So a contour line connects points that are all at the same elevation. And different contour lines represent different elevations. So this is showing a map of contour lines spanning the Teton or portion of the Teton Mountains in Wyoming. And each of these blue lines is a contour line, and they are plotted at a 100-meter contour interval. So this contour line here, spanning the peak of the mountain, is at 3,100 meters. So that means that all points along this top blue line are at that elevation. The next contour line, the one lower, is going to be 100 meters lower, and that's going to be at 3,000 meters. So that means that all points along this line are at that 3,000 meter elevation. And the next contour line is going to be 100 meters lower, again, because we have that 100-meter contour interval. So all points along this contour line are going to be at 2,900 meter elevation. So why are these useful? There's 4 reasons I've highlighted here. So contour lines show the elevation in a landscape and indicate the terrain shape. So we can use these contour lines to indicate where the landscape is high and low, and where the topographic slopes are steep or flat. And in geology, these are particularly useful for visualizing the landscape, as well as different landforms and interpreting slope stability. We can also use contour lines to understand how water will flow across a landscape. Since contour lines indicate nicely that downslope direction, they show how water will move across the landscape, and this is important for flood hazard and for mapping floods. And probably the most common use of contour maps is in navigation and for outdoor use, where hikers can use contour lines to navigate across mountainous terrain. For example, use those maps to figure out where they are on the map and the best way to get to where they would like to go. And you can use OpenTopography to make contour lines. So you'll want to go into OpenTopography, go to Data, and then select a point cloud or raster dataset. And then you'll go to the job processing page, and you'll want to go to Advanced Services, which for point clouds is going to be window number 7. We have a different number for raster datasets. And then in Windows 7, you can indicate the settings for your contour lines. So the first and most important is to check that first window, and that's to generate contour lines. And clicking that window will essentially guarantee that contour lines are made for you. I also then highly recommend that you click the Generate Visualization, as OpenTopography will then generate a nice digital elevation model with contour lines displayed on it. You can then run that job with those default options. Or you can further tune the contour lines. For example, you can select the DEM Gaussian radius. So when OpenTopography makes a contour map, there's a smoothing of the DEM. And the higher this value, the higher the spatial scale of the Gaussian radius, the more smoothed your resulting contour lines will be. You can also select the contour interval. And again, this is the separation in elevation between contour lines. Higher value here means the contour lines will be further apart, which can be better for larger areas. So we're now going to look at two examples of contour lines. The first is looking in South Mountain, which is in Phoenix, Arizona. And here we have a mountainous terrain with vegetation and a small creek and a road. And then this is showing the contour lines. These contour lines are plotted in this black or brown color. And they're plotted with a 5-meter contour interval. The DEM behind it is colored from blue at low elevation to brown to white at high elevation. So there's 3 features I'd like to point out to you in this map. So the first is that if we see circles on topographic contour maps, that indicates that we're either at a mountain top or valley bottom. And in this case here, the arrow is highlighting this circle that is white, and that's going to be the highest elevations of our landscape, indicating that this is a mountain top. Second, closer contour lines means that the landscape is steeper. So here we have relatively close contour lines and less close contour lines here. So this area where the contour lines are close indicates a steep landscape. And then finally, rule of V's. So in contour maps, you'll often see these patterns of these V's that form across different contour lines representing different elevations. And these V's can represent a stream or river or canyon, or any place where you could have water. And the V's, the uphill direction is going to be in the direction that the V is pointing. So for this green line here, the uphill direction is going to be here where the V closes. And the downhill direction where the water will flow is going to be in the direction where the V opens. So this is this canyon here. And when there is water in this area, the water is going to flow down from the higher elevations to the lower elevations. And it will flow in the direction that that V opens. And then the second example, we're going to look at an area in downtown Phoenix. Here we have the baseball stadium and the basketball stadium. And here the elevations, the contour lines are still plotted at a 5-meter contour interval. And we have the same color scale with blue indicating low elevation and brown to white indicating high elevation. And when we're looking at maps where we see of cities, where we see contour lines close together, for example, here, that indicates that we're at the edge of a building. We can also use contour lines to visualize the shape of a roof. For example, these contour lines reflect the cylindrical shape of that roof. Thank you very much for watching our video, and this concludes OpenTopography's video on contour lines.